What's going on, guys? Flying Pooh's NDA here. Today, I'm doing a story time. I've done what, one of these, maybe one. Yeah, one. So why am I doing a story time? Because I've been wanting to tell the story for like 2 years. Ever since it happened, I've just been dying to tell the story. So last time I told story time, I did the time where I fell out of it side by side. You know, that came out what, 2019, summer of 19, I think. I have no one since. So this story time takes place back in 5th grade, 2008. Yeah, I think 19 or 18. I think 18. So a little backstory. I rode the bus all my elementary year until up to now, and the other bus was never really packed. It only had good maybe 20-25 kids, which most buses have like 30 or 40. Ours didn't have that many. So it'd be me, my boy Keith, Caden, and Colton. That was what, 5? Yeah, that was us, and we always sat in the back. And there were these, I think, like 3, 4, maybe 5 girls that would always annoy us. And they were a grade below us. I think some of them were 2 grades below us. And you know, they would just kind of like annoy us, right? And we can't really do anything about it, you know, because the girls, they're also like not way younger, but they're younger than us. We were in what, 5th grade? They were in like 4th and 3rd. So you know, we can't really like, yo, shut up, and you know, punch me in the face. We can't be doing that. So every day they just annoy us, and you know, so that's the backstory. So one day during lunch, we had I don't remember the lunch, but one of the sides of it was applesauce, and they came in containers, little plastic containers about like this big, but that's why it's so little small ones. And the company was Zzz's applesauce container, right? And one of the girls decided to keep that and bring it on the bus, which, why? First of all, the only reason I ever keep it to bring it home and eat it, but applesauce is like $2 at Walmart, so what's the point? So yeah, I don't really understand why she brought it on the bus, but anyway, so we get on the bus, and she was sitting about, so I remember I was sitting on, so let's think here. I was sitting on, I'm trying to think, I was sitting on the left side, but when you walk on the bus, it'd be the right side. So basically, I'm sitting like, you know where the driver sits? I'm directly in front of him. Not directly, but you know, the same aisle, basically. And she's sitting, you know, over there a few seats ahead. And the bus goes, and she throws the applesauce container at me. Just tosses it, right? I don't think it exploded, but somehow a little bit of applesauce got on me, which, you know, I was like, really? You gotta throw applesauce at me? Come on. So I pick it up, and they're all laughing, they're dying. And I'm not trying to, you know, act mean and like, yeah, take down like 90-mile-per-hour fastball at them. So I toss it back, and I think one of them swatted it, like a defensive back to a wide receiver, just swats it, right? And they continue laughing, so I pick it up, I throw it again, I miss, I pick it up again, and this is where all hell breaks loose. So by the way, I'm what, 10, 11 years old, 5th grade. I suck at throwing. I got a little bit better, but I'm still, I sucked at throwing, right? So I don't know if I'm throwing too hard or too light, or, you know, I don't know. So I throw it, and to my surprise, I threw it way too hard. I threw it so fast that it hit like her right here in the head, I think. Boom, it hits all over the windows, all over the seats, just applesauce. I assume, like, you guys know when you do something and you know, oh, I'm done, I'm in trouble. Like, you already know something bad's gonna happen, and you just get like that. Your heart drops, like, oh man. Like, every time that happens to me, I just try to play it off, like, hey, yo, what's good, Keith? So I walk back, and I'm laughing, and my homies are just like, and I'm like, what's up? And like, I'm like, and she's crying, and she's yelling at me. She's like, why'd you do that? You know, she's yelling at me, and I'm like, you threw it at me? She's like, yeah, well, I didn't chuck it at you. And the whole bus ride was just silent. I remember I'm just sitting there like, I'm gonna get expelled. Like, I remember I'm thinking the worst. I'm like, am I gonna get suspended for, oh my god, I can get expelled. This can be a felony offense. Like, I'm freaking out, because I'm 10, 11 years old, and things, I'm a good kid. I'm still a good kid. I've always been a good kid. I've never gotten in trouble. Most I ever get in trouble is, you know, by the teacher. I don't really get sent to the principal's office, you know, so I'm not used to getting in trouble, right? So then, I get off the bus. I remember, but before I get off the bus, I'm like, I have to walk past her. So, think about you in my mind, alright? What stop's coming up? I have to walk past her. I think she's either gonna knee me in the balls or try to hit an uppercut with me. So, I'm like, oh god, I have to walk. I'm just gonna go as fast as I can and hold the backpack like to my side, you know, as like a shield, like that, basically. So, I remember I had my hand. I remember I was wearing I think it was a sweatshirt or a jacket. So, I took my hand and I covered my balls with my hand through like the pockets just in case, right? And I have my backpack, and I'm not trying to look like I'm like trying to be a little scaredy cat, but I'm not trying to look like, you know, I just walk, I look normal, right? I walk past you. I'm like, please don't do anything to me. Please don't be anything to me. Walk out. Walk up to the driveway, and I'm like, I like turn around, see the bus go. I saw her in the window, applesauce is everywhere, and I'm like, oh god, I'm done. So I go inside. First thing I do is I text my homie Caden on the bus, yo, what's going on? Because he was the last person to get off the bus, so I gotta know what's going on. He's like, yo, she's still crying, man. You know, she's mad. And I'm like, tell her I'm sorry. Why? I mean, I wasn't sorry. Hold up, camera's out of focus. So anyway, I said, yo, tell him I'm sorry. I wasn't sorry. I just wanted to think, oh, he said he's sorry, I'm not gonna tell my mom. And he's like, dude, you're done. I'm like, why? He's like, I told her to shut up, and I had to talk to the principal. I'm like, alright, I might as well just, you know, alright, say my goodbyes, you know, write my will. That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, oh god, I'm done. I remember it was a Thursday. Friday was tomorrow. I'm like, oh my god, why couldn't this have been on a Friday? That would have been perfect. Next day comes, and I'm just sit down in my seat, and I'm just expecting over the intercom, yeah, can Luke Dobson please come down to the office? But guess what? That didn't happen. Alright. So on Friday, we had this thing called Fun Friday Minutes. It was like, if we were good the entire week, we got 15 minutes on the last 15 minutes of school on Friday to fun minutes, right? Just do whatever you want, right? Free time. And then, so we go to the computer lab, do some stuff, come back, I'm walking, I'm like, I could do Fun Friday Minutes, it's like 20 minutes left to school. I'm out of this, dude. The principal walks past this line. He walked past us. He's like, yeah, can I see Luke and this other girl? And I'm just like, I look at my homie, I'm like, see ya, man. And I just walk. Me and this one girl just walking out, like, and she's like, what did I do? And she talked to me. She's like, what did I do? And I'm like, I don't know. And I'm just thinking in my mind, like, you know exactly what you did, Luke. You messed up. That's what I'm thinking. I'm like, you know what you did, man. So the principal's like, yeah, you can go. He just went like, yeah, you can go. And I'm like, me? He's like, no, her. I'm like, he's like, yeah, step inside my office. I sit down in the chair, and I'm just looking down, like, you know when like you catch a dog like in the garbage or something, and you're like yelling at them, they just put their heads down, just sit down, you know. I'm like, I'm taking my fate. Alright, here we go. And he's like, so what happened on the bus? And I'm like, alright, this is what happened. So I started telling the story, telling what happened, kind of like this, alright? And the story the girl told was 100% fabricated. She thought I brought the applesauce on the bus, and I got mad, and I just threw it at her. So I told, because my side was actually like true, and I'm not scared to say, hey, I threw it at her. There's evidence, and I did it, alright? So I'm not scared to say that. But when she threw it at me first, so, you know, I think she's in more trouble than what I am. So I remember I'm like on the verge of crying. That's how scared I was. I'm like, so I threw it at her, and she threw it back, and I'm done. So he's like, all right, and he goes into my log into my power school, right, and he starts typing down, because like you can add stuff. What happened to get in trouble? He's like, threw applesauce at girl on bus, and I remember I'm like, Dude, imagine if I get like accepted into Harvard and they look at like my power score from 5th grade and they see through applesauce at girl on bus. Oh my god. I think you can actually check to see what stuff I did on my power score, and that's probably still there. I want to check that out this video if it's still there. So anyway, he's like, yeah, I'm just gonna call your parents, and I'm like, oh, can I go use it? Like, I remember, I'm like, can I like use the bathroom, you know? I'm like, oh, you gotta call my parents, man. It's between me and you, man. Come on. So he calls him up. He puts on speakerphone. I'm like, please don't answer. Please don't answer. My dad picks up. He's like, hey, what's up? Because that's how my dad is. He's like, hey, what's up? And I'm like, oh, God. And my principal's like, hey, got Luke in my office here. And I never got a phone call home. So he's like, my dad knows I'm a good kid. So he's like, what did he do? Yeah, what did he do? And he explains the whole thing. My dad's like, huh? Like, it's such a weird thing to get in trouble for. Throwing applesauce at a girl on a bus that exploded and she started crying. That's such a weird thing. So he's like, yeah. And he's like, alright, you know, that's what happened, you know. My dad goes like, alright, bye. So they hang up. And he's like, yeah, you can go. And I'm like, I get up and I'm like walking. I'm like, as I'm walking, I like stop and I'm like, not dead. Huh. Man, that was nothing, man. That was it. I didn't get expelled or detention or suspension. That's no problem. So I remember I'm on the verge of crying. I'm still like expecting. I'm like, oh, I still gotta go home. Because I don't know how my dad's gonna react to this. I don't know if he's gonna not care. He's gonna beat me up. Or I'm gonna get yelled at. So, you know, I don't know if he's gonna be mad or happy or just doesn't care. So I walk back and I'm like, yo, to one of my homies, I told him, and he's like, yo, what happened? I'm like, I explained everything. And then bell rings, we're leaving. And I remember I get on the bus. And this is when I'm like, oh, I gotta get on the bus. I get on the bus. I sit down, talk to my homies, like nothing happened. Like, you pretend like nothing happened. I walk off. She didn't say anything to me. She didn't throw anything. I thought she was going to throw like a C4 at me or something. And I see my dad. He's in the driveway. He was in his truck about to, you know, pull off. About to go somewhere. And he's like, hey, come here. And I'm like, oh, God, here he is. And he's like, so what happened? I tell the story again. He's like, oh, that's kind of funny, man. He's like, yeah, don't worry about it. I get it. I go inside, talk to my mom. My mom was cool about it. And I like go upstairs. I sit down. I'm like, dude, man, that was nothing. I could throw applesauce at another girl and I would get in trouble. I just thought, I'm like, that's it? Jeez, that was... Alright. Oh yeah, and one thing I remember is after that whole incident, the little girl groupie and the girl threw applesauce at, she was like fine. Like, she was cool with us. Like, I remember she started acting nice to us. And like, I remember one day I had this packet of slime, right, that I found on the ground. It was all dirty and all messed up. And I said, dude, I'm gonna take it home, you know. So, and she's like, yo, we can clean that slime for you, because she's, you know, one of those slime girls, you know. She's like, yeah, we can clean that for you for us. I'm like, what? Like, you can clean? She's like, yeah, I'll clean it for you. And it was the girl I threw applesauce that I'm talking to. And I'm like, nah, it's alright, it's alright. I look at my homies, I'm like, yo, what? Did she forget what happened like 2 weeks ago? What? So she was cool, and year ended, and no more applesauces were thrown, and that's basically it. And this girl, she still goes to my school, and in my LO study hall class, I told this one kid about what happened, and he calls her applesauce girl now. It's like, yo, applesauce girl. I'm like, oh my god, like every So anyway, that's the story of how I threw applesauce at a girl on a bus. I didn't have to clean it up, by the way. If you think I had to clean up, nah. The bus driver did. It went all over the windows and the seats. And I think I did cut her just like a little, tiny little scratch. Barely even bleeding, like not even bleeding. By the time the blood comes out, just a little bit, it's done. Like, that's how much no damage. I mean, if someone did that to me, I wouldn't start crying. I would like start throwing books at him and try to, you know, throw stuff out. Okay, so anyway, I'm getting out of hand. Alright, so anyway, that's story time. It's simple story time. I'm gonna come up with more story times I can do. I can't really think of that many off the top of my head, like, you know, notable ones that I can make videos off, except for side by side, applesauce girl. That's all I can really think of off the top of my head of videos I can make more story times about. But yeah, this video is shorter than I thought. I bet. I'm out.